Okay, hello everyone. We're going to debate about the topic communicative language teaching, and the members of the team are Paola Gallardo, Alex Rodriguez, Itzamara Ibarron, Karina Alejandra, and Pamela Guadalupe. These are the questions that we're going to answer. So let's start.
Okay, the first question of this debate is, what are the current trends in CLT today? And well, in my personal opinion, I think, for begin, in the past, the learning of the students was different and a little bit more difficult to then because the activity schooling had been at the best, and the students had more problems to understand and try to learning with these activities. But now, with more studies about how is that the students can develop their knowledge in the classroom, the teachers can know what is the level of the students, what is the goals of the students, and what kind of students they have in the classroom, and with this, the teachers can know what kind of activities can put in the classroom to the students. So Alex, what do you think about that?
Well, for me, the current trends are that mainly focus on technology we have available for us as teachers and as students, um, which is great because we have many options to teach and to learn. Students can have conversations with people around the world. They can have activities that involve more communication and not only grammar, and exercises about writing and reading, and they can focus more on how they can express. So for me, CLT today is more about using all these devices that help us enhance the students' approach. Pami, what do you say?
I agree with you, Alex. And I think that the current CLT is thinks more of the students' needs. For example, now when teacher is going to use this method, the teacher have in mind the age, the level, the goals, and the environment where the teacher is teaching. And I think this is very important because not every one of the students has the same possibilities or the same goals. So I think that this is very good that now teachers have in mind these kind of things. Um, what do you think, Itza?
Well, for me, the main goal of CTL is the communicative competence. And the best way to achieve this goal is having a syllabus and methodologies. So I think the teacher has to create a good syllabus. That way, he or she can create a good class. And I think this is the difference between past teachers and a current teachers. So yeah. What about you, Karina?
Well, I think that there is not a specific set of practices or current trends that characterize the actual communicative language teaching. I think that nowadays this approach is more extensive. Now you can teach in many ways depending on the context, culture, goals, focus, the students. But also I agree with Alex. I think specifically in this situation, it's more like about technology. like um, well, that's it. Like more technology in our teaching.
Okay, can we go to the next question? Do you agree with that? Okay, the next question is which of the course assumptions are most important in your view? We saw 10, and for me, the most important are the 3, 6, 7, and 9. The 3, because it talks about that a class must be interesting to be mm, I don't know how to say that, but well, I'm going to read it. It's meaningful communication is processed when the content is relevant and interesting. And well, this is something that all of we know that to because we have been students and we know that if a class is boring, obviously the student is not will not have any any won't learn. No. Um The other one is the seats. The seats in is language learning involves creative use of the language and trial error. I think this is very important because it talks about the errors, and it's important that teachers let know the students that each error that they commit is normal, because sometimes the students don't talk or they don't want to participate, or they don't want to talk about something because they are afraid of made a mistake. So it's important to talk about it, that every error is normal, and it's important to have to success in the language and learning language. The other one is the 7 and the 9. I think these two are connected because first, the 9 talks about the role of the teacher and says that in the language classroom, the role is of a facilitator. I think that a teacher in the language learning is not a teacher at all. Um, how it says, it's a facilitator and it's a guide. And I think this is connected with the 7 because the 7 says that the learners develop on roots in the language learning, and they have different needs and motivations. So if the teacher is a guide, how I say, the students will be able to get their own roots, and because well, they all of they have different kind of motivation and different goals. So to get and to be able to get the communicative competence, it's important that the teacher guide them in the best way. Well, that's all by me. What do you think about it, Pau?
Well, I agree with you with all of your points of view of these core assumptions. And well, the role of the teacher is really important because always we need to have a one monitor, and we need to, well, thanks for the teacher. We need to feel motivated when we need to continue with uh, we need to have the motivation to learn. And well, for me, it's really important that. But for me, well, I have well, that's in me really important, and that is the two. That is the effective classroom learning tasks and exercise provided opportunities for the students to negative meaning, expand their language resources, and notice how language is used and take part in the meaningful interpersonal exchange. And well, for me, it's the more important because I believe that the activities have a lot to do with the development of the students' learning. Well, with since with them, they will go down and what they are learning, and thus they will have a faster development in their learning. Okay, the students can develop more faster with the appropriate activities that the teacher put in the classroom. What do you think about that, Itza?
Well, for me, um, the most important assumptions are it's easy to learn a second language if we have a meaningful interaction. I mean, I think when a teacher focuses on the interaction between students, um, the language um, development is better because you are using the language all the time. You are talking in the second language. You are making mistakes and you are understanding how to correct them. And yeah, for me is the interaction. And second, communication is a process which calls to use several language skills. It's important to have, now it's important to understand that we have four skills and we need to develop all of them. We need to have a good, I don't know how to say it. We have to develop all of them, not just one of them. So yeah, and language learning is a gradual process based on a creative use of language. We have to be creative as teachers because we need to motivate our students and we need to have a lot of activities, interesting activities. We don't have to focus only on one activity. I mean, memorizing or just writing is sometimes it's bored and we need to practice a little bit more about I don't know, speaking, listening. Yeah, we have to use all of them, not just one activity. And yeah, that's all for me. Alex, what do you think?
Well, for me, first of all, I think I agree with all of you. And as Itza was saying, um, second language learning, uh, the interaction is very important. Activities that are meaningful that students can engage with. And I think it was Pami, um, like she mentioned the role of the teacher and how it changes in CLT. The teacher is more a guide, and the student has to have the control. You know, he needs or she needs to do several activities involving communication with others and not only by himself or by herself. And for me, the other thing that is important in these assumptions is that um, learning is like in a group. We need to do groupal activities or in pairs or whatever, so our students improve their communication. Not only by writing or reading, they have to have conversations, they have to express their ideas, they have to be able to communicate with anyone in that language, especially if they want to meet other people, meet other cultures. And I think that's what's important in CLT, go beyond just lessons of grammar and structure and everything else. And the important thing is that they feel confident to talk to other people. Karina, what do you say? Do you agree?
Yes, I agree with all of you. For me, it's also important the one that says that learners develop their own roads to language learning process at different rates and have different needs and motivation for language learning. I think that every student or person has his own reasons to learn a language. chicos.
Karina?
Sí, es que perdón, me salió un mensaje de que ya se había acabado el tiempo.
Listo.
Well, as I was saying, I think that every student is different and have different reasons to learn a new language. And I think that the learning process is so long, and we as teacher are just a couple years with them, so they have to um, develop their own roads to language learning. We have to be a guide for them and be a helper and a provider, as Pami and many of you say. And that's it. And well, the next question is, what are the main implications of the principles presented for teaching in our context in Guanajuato? And well, I think that teachers Guanajuato needs to be more like prepared. I think that many teachers in our state are just teaching because they know the language, but many of them don't know like methods, techniques, how to use effective learning and communication strategies. Um, and I think that we have to be like conscient about this and like help each other as teachers to be and provide like a more um, provide quality classes. I don't know. What do you think, Pame?
I agree with you that many of the teachers that we have, they are not completely prepared to teach a subject in general, because they don't know, even they know that they know what they are teaching, they don't know how to teach it. And well, I think that this is part that, well, we have this problem since too much time ago, because sometimes when you were talked in a bad way, you think that it was the right way, but because you know that it was not, so you teach in the same way. And another thing that is, I think that is a problem too, in specific in the second language acquisition, is that some teachers don't know what is really to know a language. Well, in my case, I think that know a language is, it goes more than get a grade for an exam or something like that. That is okay. It's okay that if you want to learn a language just to pass an exam or something like that. But it's important for the teacher to let know the student that it is more than that, and that you can, how important it is to learn a language, and how things you can get talking about culture and all of these things that you can get more than basic things, you know. And I think that to make the student believe that and want to be part of that, the teacher needs to first, the teacher needs to think that and to be part of that, so you could be able to transmit it. So I think that, what do you think about it, Alex?
Well, yeah. I think you mentioned some problems very important, especially when you say that teachers don't know the language, and also, as Karina was saying, um, many of the teachers are not prepared. Um, I mean, they know, I don't know, for example, English or French or whatever, but they don't know how to teach it, and they're not fully prepared on how to pass that knowledge to someone else. And especially here in Guanajuato, I think, I don't know, it's very, what is the word? Um, like they all do the same thing, you know, the same activities, and they they guide themselves by the same rules and the same books even. So it doesn't change. And I think many of us, if not all of us, have had this kind of teachers that they only make us do some exercises and learn some words and grammar rules, and they don't really have any interest in us to, you know, have communicative competence. So yeah, I think the main problem is that many of them don't have like um, like they don't focus on how to best do their job. And in CLT, it's what's most important, you know, to create an environment where students can learn, and can communicate and can express. And if we don't do that, if we don't start to change that, you know, students will be lost. And Pau, I don't know, what do you say?
Um, okay. Well, you about me and you say 2 points really important, that the teacher sometimes not prepared to teach the language. But I think that also the teachers sometimes feel afraid to teach these kinds of subjects, because the students can feel, maybe the students not put the necessary attention, and that makes that the teacher feel more maybe uncomfortable in the class. And that's no make motivation in the teacher, because after all, the teacher needs to have the motivation to teach. And maybe the students no create this atmosphere, and maybe not, the teacher no feel doesn't feel um, sure about his job. So I think that maybe sometimes the teacher can feel in a comfort zone, and that's not make that a good teaching to the students. I think that. So it's what do you think about?
Well, I think it's all about us as students because, well, personally, when I was in high school, I remember that I was the only one that really enjoyed the English class because my classmates were like, I don't like English. I'm not interested about learning English. And I guess people in Guanajuato don't have the aspiration to learn a new language. And I guess this is the main reason uh, why maybe teachers don't, I don't know, don't see out of the box. And I think it's all about the students. Well, yeah, mostly teachers, but we have something in the problem because I see a pattern in the classrooms about the teacher stands in front of the class and talk and talk and talk, and then she or he starts a dictate, and the students just write down. And yeah, it's a pattern. And I think we as students have to demand more activities. We have to ask for more. I mean, but I think people in Guanajuato are not interested about learn a new language. And I guess this is the one of the principal problems that I see here, because we as students don't care about the subject. We don't care about learning new things. So yeah, I think that's the principal problem here. And but also I can see that new teachers, young teachers, are learning more about how to motivate the students, how to create new activities, how to create a syllabus. And for me, this is like the difference between oldest teachers and new teachers. So I think this is going to finish in several years, in a couple of years. Sorry, and yeah. So yeah, I think that's all. Do I have to say the other question?
No, I'll say it.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Name 3 components of the paradigm shift in our thinking about teachers, learning, and teaching. Well, for me, you can hear me? Yeah. Okay. Um, for me, it's helping students to understand the purpose of learning and develop their own purpose. Because if, as it's I was saying, if they only do it because they have to, because it's a obligatory subject, then it's very difficult to make it understand why it's important, why it is good to know another language, why what they can do with that language, and we have to focus more on that. And another point is that we have to make a view of learning as a lifelong process rather than something done to prepare students for an exam. Because the same thing as Itza was saying, if it's only a subject that they have to pass, they don't focus very much, and they can cheat and like conform with a passing grade. But if we prepare them for this new process of learning a language, like something that maybe it's going to take you years and years, but at the end you'll be able to know many things and new worlds and new people. It's more interesting, and it's not that boring. I mean, some parts of it will remain boring, like grammar and all these other things, but yeah, they can be able to do other things and to express themselves. And the last things is focusing greater attention on the role of learners rather than the external stimuli learners are receiving from the environment. The shift from the teacher to the student, like we were saying at the beginning, we need to focus more on what the student needs and what he or she wants, rather than the teacher only being the only one who gives the things and lessons and activities. We have to play it with both of us, the teacher and the student, and see what they like, motivate them, um, that sort of things. I don't know, Itza, what do you think?
Mm, well, answering the question, 3 components of the paradigm. I guess focusing on the social nature of learning. I mean, well, because personally, I think we have to learn the language as a nature form. Like if you were, I don't know, uh, having interaction with a native person. So I guess, yeah, we have to learn the language in that way, in a nature way. Um, Helping students to understand the purpose of learning. I mean, why are you learning the language? What's the purpose of learning a language? Why are you here? I mean, yeah, if you have a clear purpose of about why are you doing this, I mean, that could help to to improve the learning. And I mean, if you focus your attention on the learning process rather than the product, um, it could be easier to to have success, sorry, in the language, and you have to focus about the process and not about the product, and you have to enjoy it. And yeah, I mean, for me, it's all. What about you, Paula? What do you think about it?
Um, well, I agree with you and all of your point of view, but of course I have my own opinion about that. And well, Alex mentioned something that, sorry, Alex mentioned that helping students to understand the purpose of learning and develop their own purpose, and that seems me really important because sometimes the students uh, it's like why I am learn I mean I this not have sense, and the teachers need to give this purpose, this meaning of the learning to the students. That is really important for me, because in my experience to the students, sometimes it's like why I'm learn, I mean I can do other things without studying, and maybe that's result good for me. But it's really important to know why we learn it, because how say this the purpose of learning and developing their own purpose. Well, my uh, if I learn, I can develop my own purpose. It's like, well, in the future, I want to, I don't know, I want to put a puesto de tacos. But for this, we need to know how, we need to learn economy, how to um, manejar the counts, and well, know all these this environment that we need to we need to have in the future. And well, that is my opinion about this question. What about you, Pami?
I agree with all of you. And well, in my case, the first paradigm that I think it's important is focusing greater attention on the learning process rather than the product that learners produce. Of course, if students have um, a good process, and with this I mean that they have a natural process, they will be able to get the competence communicative, because they will ready to speak the language in the most natural way. The second one is focusing greater attention on the social nature of learning than rather than on students as separate. How you said before, it's important that they are in communication, constantly communication, to get the goals. And finally, a view of learning as a lifelong process rather than something done to prepare students for an exam. How I said before, it is okay if someone wants to learn something just to get a grade or something like that. It is okay. And but in the other hand, you need to, it, it doesn't matter what is the goal of the student. Is the task of the teacher to teach them or to guide them in in the acquisition of second language, and to do it in the best way. And the best way is a natural way, because if we think about it, there is no a correct way, because everyone learns in a different way. So I think the most the better that I think could be, it's in a natural way, because they will acquire what they think that they need depending on their motivation, on their goals, and well, everyone is different. What do you think about it, Karina?
Well, for me, it's important also helping students to understand the purpose of learning and develop their own purpose. I think that many teachers, coaches, like arrive to the class and put some things on the blackboard, explain, and that's all. Um, many teachers are like, a mí igual me siguen pagando. O sea, si tú aprendes o no, a mí igual me pagan. So I think that it's like also important helping students to understand and find a purpose. Um, it's um, important to motivate them. I think this make so much easier for them to learn and to carry like the process of learning. And another one is view of learning as a lifelong process rather than something done to prepare students for an exam. Um, I think that this is also important because, as Alex said, and as I said before, it's like easier to just learn or teach for an exam and live like that. But we have to go beyond that and prepare the students for like real life using of the language. And the other one is centered of attention shifts from the teacher to student. Um, I think this is important because it's not about us. I know that we are who provide the knowledge, but I think that this is not about us. This is about the students, and we have to focus the classes on them. And I think that's all.
Okay. And the last one is, what does teachers as co-learners mean? Well, for me as a student, when I feel like my teacher is like my classmate, or like he or she is trying to learn with me at the same time, I feel more like, I mean, I feel less afraid to fail. If the teacher helps me, allow me to have mistakes, if the teacher shows interest in my learning process, I feel like I'm really develop my English. I feel comfortable. I feel, yeah, I feel really happy when my teacher, when I see my teacher as, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm, if I see my teacher as a friend or like a yeah, you know, I feel like I'm really enjoying the process. And maybe that could help about the motivation, because you feel like you are in a good environment. And for me, that's teacher as co-learners. And I forgot. Oh, sorry. Se me olvidó lo que iba a decir. Yeah, but mostly that. I don't know. What do you think, Alex?
Well, yeah. I think you have a very important point. And I think about two things when you say this about teachers being co-learners. First of all, like you say, it allows us to continue learning the language or our profession or job. Like, and I think it was with the teacher Emmanuel, when he sometimes forgot how to say some words, or things like that. And I think it really allows to be able, or to be confident, to express and make mistakes, and nothing happens. We learn about it and we grow. And the other thing, I think it's important to remember that we are always learning, how to do this job teaching, um, because things are changing, especially now with technology. There's new forms to teach, um, to approach learning a language. So that's why I think we are always learning, and we can learn from the students. They can show us some things, and yeah, we are always in this process. Pami, what do you say?
Well, I think that teaching is a profession where in which you are learning all the time. You learn from your students, from the topics that you're teaching, and well, we know that each mind is a world. So people say that the practice makes the teacher. So with everyone that you have, sometimes you think, and I think that it's something that all the teachers tells us, because it is real. It's true that sometimes we as students we think, oh, the teacher won't remember me, or maybe that teacher has had a lot of students and I am like another one. But no, each one is special, and each one brings you different things that in future situations you could be able to put into practice. Well, that's what I think. What do you think about it, Karina?
Mm, Well, I think that is very true. That um, each teacher is like different, and the students as well. Um, and I think that teachers as co-learners are, as said in the text, that is a teacher that is a facilitator. Um, I think that many teachers, especially the like the old ones in the profession, teach as they were like teaching or as they learn. That is like just put the rules, put the grammar, put examples, repeat some exercise. And I think that teachers as co-learners are more like um, a teacher who helps you in pushing to, mm, I don't know how to say, um, yeah, to solve problems that you have when you are learning, and to enjoy the process of learning. And I think that it's very clear what it says, that the students feels more comfortable when a teacher admits that they don't know everything about the subject. They also keeps like learning and knowing like things. And well, I think that's all. I agree with all of you. What do you think, Pau?
Well, I am agree with you with your point of view. Actually, I think that the teacher as a co-learner is a facilitator that need to help to the students. And well, more I think that the teacher need to help more at the students in these times, in this circumstances that we found, because well, it's more difficult to the student try to learn through the computer and through this virtual class, and it's more complicated. And the teacher need to have more alternative, and if the students have problems, or or well, have problems to learn. I think that that is the teachers and co-learners want to mean. What do you think it's a?
I was the first one.
Sí,
Wow.
yes, sorry,
Okay.
I am the last, sorry. Okay, so I think with this
But
we
Yeah,
yeah,
I
I
finish.
think
think
that
we
that's
finished, I
yeah.
guess.
I think that
So well, so we finish
yeah.
with this question, this debate.
Well,
Sorry for this, for watch this video, and don't forget to subscribe. And
bye. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye.
give
Bye.
like, give like to this video. Thank you.